Why, hello there, a nice tale here. I hope this video finds you well. Today I'm bringing you a review of this knife, the Bestech Togatta. This is a rather interesting overall knife. I think it's been discontinued. There are still some available, but not this particular variant, which is, in my opinion, one of the more interesting variants. But there is one, just a plain one with carbon fiber, which is also quite nice, but nothing. I don't know where I was going with that. Let's get into the review. Start with the specs, as always. This is a relatively large knife. In fact, one thing that I have to say is it's 3 3/4, but technically the cutting edge terminates at 3 7/8, so just under 4 inches of blade. It doesn't feel like that. Maybe it's because the handle's so big. Let's see. The handle is 5 inches and 3/8 at an overall length of 9 1/8. The handle feels huge, so maybe that makes the blade feel smaller. But I mean, technically, that's quite a bit of blade. It's arguably a large knife, but it doesn't really feel like a large knife. Let's do some comparisons to give you a better idea of just how large it is. I'm still kind of undecided of whether I want to just straight up call it a large knife or call it a larger than average but still medium size, or full size. Medium is a little bit smaller in my opinion. Where is my Civivi Elementum? My desk is a mess right now. I haven't had a chance to clean up. I have found the Civivi Elementum. Alright, the small Civivi Elementum and the full-size Civivi Conspirator. Yeah, this thing is definitely a large knife. Even blade size, it's larger. But a lot of it is handle. I think that's part of the reason why it doesn't quite feel as big as it is, maybe? I don't know. It's not particularly tall, though. In fact, I don't think any part of it reaches the height of the Conspirator. And it is about as thick, maybe a little bit thicker. It's contoured scales. Well, technically, maybe it's not contoured. It's super close. Make that decision for yourself. It's kind of flat, but the scales have a little bit of contour to them. I mean, they're just up here, but still. I'm going to call it flat, but it's only slightly thicker than the Conspirator. Let's see just how thick it is now, because I have the calipers right offhand, right here. At its thickest, 545 thousandths. Yeah, that's not much thicker than the Conspirator. At its thinnest without the scales, just under 1/2 inch. So yeah, it is a bit thicker there. Blade stock thickness, 150 thousandths, relatively robust there. It, of course, has a very, very robust and thick tip and forward grind. It's a Tonto with the change in angle there, and the front grind is very robust. But back here, it's not too bad. I will say it is ground. Like, this side is definitely, as you can see, the bevel is on one side is definitely higher. I haven't sharpened this knife, mind you, but 17 thousandths behind the edge, even though it's kind of slightly on a cockeyed. It's probably going to be about 20 thousandths for the most part. And yeah, it doesn't have a lot of room to drop. It's not a tall grind, so it's going to get thick quickly. You don't have a ton of life in that sense on this thing. Good lord, I can't even find the 2 AA batteries, really? No, they're right there. Okay. 2 AA batteries for grip length, just to give you an idea. Always do that. Yeah, as you can see, like, the primary grip is 2 AA batteries on this thing, but you have a whole piece of the tail sticking off that you absolutely can grip around and still hold on to. You have a lot of room on this knife. Hardware check being T8, And everything else is T6, unfortunately. Don't love seeing that, but it is what it is. Try to just keep a good T6 on hand. In fact, I need a new T8, honestly, but yeah. And wait, scale. Scale is actually right where I can see it, so that's not going to be a problem. 5.05 ounces, so basically 5 ounces. No big deal there. It's not the lightest thing, but given its size, given the fact that it's titanium, it's not the worst either. These, at least some of these, I don't know if they're all numbered, but this is numbered. They've done 9 out of 60 of these. This particular variant, which is interesting because it wasn't really a super popular model. As I said, some are still available, and this is a number of years old at this point. Whatever. Let's get into the actual knife itself. I already talked about the fact that it is a Tonto, kind of dual ground, kind of not really Tonto. Bestech logo, really don't want to see that there. Just the logo, right up in there. In fact, Bestech's logo, like the logo they put on the pivots, or this logo right here, could go either spot, honestly. It is an M390. You know, I didn't check the designer of this knife. Hold on a second, I'm going to go do that. And we're back. Cohen's Craft? I guess that's his signature. I think Cohen is... yeah, that's a K right there. So I think he's Canadian. I think. That's the designer. So low grind. You've got thumb studs and a hole for the reverse flick, which you can actually use, by the way. It's a little tight, but you can definitely get in there. It's not too bad. The thumb studs also work pretty well. They're small, but they're pretty good. Stop pin is up there, which normally would be a problem, except they put a nub behind it, so the stop pin actually hits the nub, which means it doesn't hit the back, which is good because the plunge grind does definitely hit the edge. As I said, I didn't sharpen this, and it's already got a smile, so that's going to have to be cut in with a sharpening joil. There is, as I said, also just like plain satin versions. This is the two-tone. I think the two-tone really sets off this blade style, like the shape and everything. And the fact that, I guess that's, yeah, it's still two-tone, but it's like 4 areas, actually. I think it just sets it off a little bit more. It makes it a little bit more interesting than a full satin, which is one of the things I liked. The inlay is a, like, what is it called? G10 Damascus, or whatever you call it. This one is white. There is, like, an olive one that I think was kind of ugly. Otherwise, there was micarta and carbon fiber. However, none of those had any sort of blade coating. They were just the pure satin version, so you really only had 2 options for the two-tone blade. Big pivot, bronze pivot collar, which is kind of odd. There's no other bronze on this thing, but whatever. I guess you have an antiqued bronze handle, so I guess it fits, but the color is not matched exactly, so it does stand out a little bit, which isn't bad. Sort of an antique bronze handle, which I actually like this finish. Adds a little bit of different color and dimension, and you can see some of the micro milling on it, which is pretty nice. The handle is actually pretty nicely done. It's got a chamfer all the way around, and both edges and everything has been softened very well. Very, very well. In fact, more knives need to do it like this. This is, like, even the lock bar, this is nice and soft and chamfered. More knives need to do that. I mean, this is an old knife, and it's doing it better than a lot of knives that I've come into contact with recently. It is basically just a frame lock knife. Titanium frame lock. There's no real cutback for the axis, but it's a slight angle. but it's pretty easy. I will note that it makes a little bit of noise. I don't know if it's got to be the bearings, right? Or maybe the blade jumping onto the... I don't know. Here. It always does it. It's smooth afterwards. I mean, it's not like super drop shut, but it's quite smooth. I don't know if that's the contact with the detent ball or what. Maybe it just needs to be cleaned out. It's a little more dirty in there than I thought it was. But it is on bearings. You have some weight reduction. Not a ton of weight reduction. They're not huge holes in there. Right? So I think that's part of why it's about 5 ounces. But yeah, I mean, you do have some weight reduction with the inlays too, I suppose. Titanium backspacer, titanium pocket clip, which the clip is definitely tight. It does work. It's a continuous rise and everything, but it's not a very tall clip. It leads it to being very comfortable. The ergos are extremely comfortable here. But if you have a really thick pant, you might have some trouble getting it in there, like just even getting it under there, honestly. So, be forewarned about that. Snappy action. Overall. What was it that I wanted to mention? Oh, yeah. Blade to handle ratio. Not amazing. It's got a lot of backspacer sticking out of the back, and I think that's part of what makes it seem so much longer than it is. I mean, that's a good... Let's see. Let's actually see how much space you could probably get on the back end of that thing. Almost a half an inch. Like, there's almost a half an inch that you could have probably put more blade into if you had trimmed down this thing. So, honestly, yeah, that's part of the reason why. At the same time, it does, as I said, make the knife feel quite a bit smaller than it actually is. Like, this does not feel like a 3/4 blade. But, yeah, tons of handle. Depth of carry is medium. It's not bad. It's not really hard to get it in and out of the pocket. You've got a little bit of like indent on this pocket clip here, and it's not bad. But I suppose it could use more grip on there. But it's I have not had too much problem with it in the pants that I could get it in and out of relatively easy, mind you. I think that's basically everything I need to talk about here on this particular one. It's a relatively straightforward knife. The pricing on these is a bit weird. I think they were around $300 when they first came out, particularly these variants. But I know that like the carbon fiber variant that is still around is going for like $270 or $280 something, and there's another variant that's still available. I don't know if it's the micarta variant or whatever. Probably it is. I believe on certain websites you can find that as low as $265 for what's like still available. You might have to do some looking at some different retailers and everything like that. It might not be at your chosen or preferred. But yeah, it's not a bad knife. It just has some serious limitations with the grind. It's cool. It's aesthetically striking. It's kind of a long-looking thing, even though it doesn't feel huge once you actually get it in hand. It's doing a couple interesting things. I liked it enough to just kind of pick it up. I got this one on the secondary like a number of years ago, and I've been relatively pleased. Like it's a good knife. There's no play, no up and down, no side to side. At least there wasn't. No, still nothing there. It's remain bank vault. I haven't really messed with the pivot at all. I haven't really cleaned it out since I got it, and it's only gotten a little bit worse in there. Probably should do that. But it's a fun design. That's one thing I do like about Bestech. They do some... They're never like the most popular designs. They're in-house or they're Bestech branded models. But I think they have some very unusual designs. They take some weird risks, especially with like combo and everything like that being an in-house designer and everything. Well, a designer who does a lot of stuff for them. They've always got something interesting in their catalog, I think. Even if it's quite subjective or not the most popular thing. I found some of them to be pretty interesting, and I'd like to be checking out a few more from Bestech down the road, hopefully. But that will end things here for this one. Review done of the Bestech Togatta. Oh, my thoughts on the price. The price is like the current price for the ones that's the carbon fiber and stuff, like $270 or $280. Yeah, probably about right, honestly. It is well made. I cannot deny that. It feels very solid. It feels... I mean, of course, I'd love to see it around $250, but it's not that far off, and it's not pushing absurd numbers. So, no complaints. I think you can actually get like all of them at $300, or almost all of them, most of them. You can't get this variant. You can't get basic natural micarta or maybe like a G10 or something like that. But you can get every other variant off of Bestech's website for around $300. There is one with copper carbon fiber that is, for some reason, more expensive. But I honestly don't know why that one is more expensive. No idea. But yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. It's different. It's got a nice style to it. I feel like this could really be a really good knife with a few changes. It's like cutting down on some of that backspacer or extending the blade out a little bit, better sharpening choil, and like a thinner or a hollow grind. This could be really, really good. It's almost there. As it is, it's kind of just a cool knife. Premium, fun knife. And hey, I'm here for that. Hopefully you guys are too, otherwise I don't know what you're doing on any channel, any knife channel, right? Most of the time it's an interesting knife that's, whether it's budget or not, it's a fun model that we're looking at, or presenting, so... Whatever. I'm running at the mouth. I'm running out of things to say. I don't feel great. So I'll see you guys later. And thanks for watching.